It is currently 7:34 a.m. and this is the fake sun. The fake sun that is on what is the east side of the front door of Tracy Banks at 7:34 in the morning is at 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is 11 hours later on the west side of the same front door of Tracy Banks, which is confirmed in video at 6:18 p.m. And in images that I've also captured that are on the record. This is orange colored as you're breaking down what is the fake sun. Also, the documentation, the fake sun travels from this direction, 9 o'clock in the morning. It's behind this tree over the roof, 9:46 a.m. It's remaining above the building. As I've documented, the entity keeping the fake sun directly above this building, above this sidewalk over me, and advancing, remaining over me in this parking lot as I've documented. And the entity is keeping what is the fake sun over the same parking lot, as you can see it reflecting off of the windshield of the vehicles in the same exact parking lot, including the Demon's vehicle with license 5WB715, who's parked right there by the dumpster, and that which is here at 7:34 in the morning right here. This is it, the light source is right here. It is not going anywhere when it's reflecting off of the vehicle on the passenger side of the vehicles in the same parking lot. That was what I documented at 5:03 in the evening yesterday. This is the documentation of what is an entire neighborhood that's a violent sex offender, and that is obsessed with me because it is indeed engaged in what is stalking, gang stalking, which is a government program. It is criminal surveillance, and it is criminal monitoring, which is satanic. It is also satanic with regard to the demonic environment where gang stalking is happening. And this is where the entity is engaging in gang stalking with the people of the state. They're all going to prison for gang stalking as it's being exposed in what is masquerading as a private residence, a private residential neighborhood, private activity, freedom of speech, etc. This is all the exploitation of a constitution that is not protecting the government from prosecution and exposure, and it's not protecting the civilian population that's gang stalking. And that is all known through the environment that defies nature, in addition to what is the duration of time analysis, where you'll have the fake sun that's directly over me 5 hours from now, right here at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. That is non-movement. Neither is this in what is the west of Ontario, California, with regard to direction, location, in Los Angeles. At the same time, I'm waking up in the morning, even at the same time, for the duration of the day, the fake sun is engaged in what is the same pattern amongst what is impossible to exist. And that is the sun rising and setting in alignment to me in Los Angeles, California. This is called understanding the elements of monitoring, where those who do the same thing, which is light activity and crossing a path. It's also psychopathic to do so as a community that is stalking together, and that's accomplished by residents. That's accomplished by presence, employment, what Linda Reyes and AVANATH Capital Management are engaging in. And you don't have any constitutionally protected right to live in the specific environment, which they are. They being the demon-possessed who are in gang stalking. Unit 52 is going to federal prison. And that's called impunity. And that's the government that relies on that impunity to keep you under surveillance. And those are the same demons who don't create any potholes in the sidewalk. You see how quietly that front door closes, but inside, the cracking of ceilings and walls and amplified booms like bombs are detonating. That's demonic. That's the amplified audible activity with the government that flies over a senior citizen complex at that. But what is government action? Gang stalking with the population. That is the same population that then has positions that they are disqualified and to be removed from and prosecuted for abusing while they're engaging in what is criminal surveillance of an American citizen in violation of your human rights as well. That is federal group stalking and monitoring, and it is identified in that environment that defies nature. And the actual purpose was not anything other than what is monitoring me walking into the apartment. It's called crossing path. And it's also light activity, especially when the sun is nothing that's going to sit idle, what is 6 hours from now, and it's still here over the same tree. Not even as tall as the tree or above the tree. It's beneath the tree as I'm able to capture it inside of this apartment through this patio glass door, and you're looking at that light source that's already sitting on the record, okay? The entity is engaging in a pattern of conduct where the fake sun is engaging in what is circus-like conduct, and so are the people of the state. You just witnessed somebody that is a demon, hideous in the spirit, but is in the flesh. What you're looking at, somebody standing upright on two legs, walking right by you. That's a demon-possessed person, and mentally that's a psychopath. And it's also somebody that is a violent sex offender. You know all about their criminal criminal conduct, you know about their mental illness, and you know about what is the malice whereby the criminal system by a government is underway. As a fake sun is remaining over me, and it's still remaining after 6 p.m., and it's speaking to what the government is doing citywide and also statewide. This is the exact same pattern of conduct in Los Angeles, where the entity engaged in what is keeping a fake sun rising through my living room window at 1806 North Alvarado Street, apartment number 6, setting through my bedroom window at 1806 North Alvarado Street, apartment number 6. That is keeping the fake sun rising and setting, and for the duration of the day, over my head, just like the entity is doing at one apartment complex, at one location where I am situated at one apartment complex in the same location, Ontario, California, where the sun would never be in Los Angeles at this time, nor at any point of the day, where the totality of circumstances showing that which defies nature, and psychopaths engage in conduct such as placing themselves in the path to be directly identified, which is not rebutting evidence, speaking to the impossibility with regard to anything other than speaking to that supernatural character. And so when you're talking about the evidence of the fake sun, you'll have somebody that crosses path, engages in the gang stalking right in front of your face, as though that is suggesting that there is something innocent or disinterest with regard to that target individual. That's the psychopath. Okay, and it is, by the way, the material saving for a very, very simple and straight to the point prosecution. You're understanding the complex aspect with regard to the necessity of having a tremendous body of evidence to understand the specific environment. That is that which is understood in the aggregate. It is not complex with regard to who is gang stalking, who are the demons, and who are the actors. It's the government, and these are state actors. The government doesn't have any have any constitutionally protected presence when you are gang stalking with the Ontario Police Department, who uses the same exact venue in the specific environment and the same exact demonic behavioral patterns, demonic features in that specific environment. That's what LAPD is doing under a fake sun that remains over me in Los Angeles, California, in LA County, using the hallmark of helicopters and airplanes amongst a demon-possessed population at that. The fact that they're demon-possessed is just coloring the harm, coloring the conduct. And it is relevant to domestic terrorism, the type of terrorism, satanic, absolutely psychopathic. It is currently, again, 7:41 a.m. and the entity, recall, after 1 o'clock in the afternoon, 12 o'clock in the afternoon, the Ontario Police Department is gang stalking when I walk out of this apartment, and DBUNI is crossing path in the parking lot, and the entity is doing so. If you'll recall, the entity is gang stalking with the sex offender that's walking their dog right now, and at 12:53 p.m., the fake sun is over me while remaining here in the same exact conduct of crossing a path, which is a federal offense. All right, and it's also the knowledge to know about those who are monitoring the genitalia of a private citizen, and that is not a private citizen, it's a state actor. That was the one gang stalking with San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department under the fake sun that's over this same building as I documented at 12:53 p.m. Okay, that is the entity that is, and you can look at the two videos and look at what is that supernatural feature regarding what is malice by the state, and that is also the state at what is a facilitating venue. This is how you have American citizens that are engaging in that surveillance system, which is satanic, and it's also sexually demented and perverted and motivated. All right, and that's the psychopaths who are committed to gang stalking regardless. They are willing to go to prison. They're willing to go to mental asylums. That is what is relevant when they're gang stalking in the ways that they are by crossing path. It's also shown when they're, because they're doing the same level of impunity is exhibited while they're living in apartment buildings and gang stalking as a way of life. Okay, it is more so exhibited very clearly for purposes of a prosecution. Demonstrating worthiness of prison, demonstrating worthiness of mental asylums, demonstrating worthiness of being removed from minor children, having that criminal record as a violent sex offender, being removed from office, etc. when they're engaging in the crossing path like Unit 52 has, like this demon that crossed path walking her dog. She's the same one gang stalking at 12:53 in the afternoon where the fake sun is right here. Let's be clear, that's negligible movement from this side of apartment 51 to being right in its zenith at 12:53 to be directly over this building right here as I walk to where that demon of San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department walks, gang stalking me at the venue of Woodside Senior Apartments. It's currently 7:43 a.m. and the people of the state are gang stalking. This is Engineer Light. That is, again, the entity that has the fake sun on this side of the building. It's the same light activity which is occurring underneath a covered structure. The significance of surveillance is none of this is sunlight, and this is an unpersuasive and unintelligent means of deceiving all of us regarding what is the cause of the light that you're looking at everywhere, and it's not sunlight. And the ability to know that is that which is occurring inside of the apartment, that which occurs underneath in defiance of like logic, science, common sense. When you're seeing light manifesting in the shade out of nowhere, when you're seeing light ricocheting off of objects, and then you're also seeing light that's appearing inside of the apartment, which I've also documented. What I documented on the inside, while the entity is engaging in what is ongoing psychological warfare, that's the psychological, that is spiritual component of gang stalking. They're gang stalking in the physical. The demon possessed that are gang stalking you are also spiritually attacking you. That is that which is occurring mentally to you in order to engage in what is criminal defamation. Spiritually attacking your mind in order to cause you to be subject to some sort of distress, to disrupt what it is, the peace that you have in your mind, the operation of your thoughts and whatnot. Not able to control your thoughts, but to interfere with thoughts, cause you to question your thoughts. That's the psychological component when the entity is gang stalking. And that which is surrounding in the specific environment is that which I want you to see here. This engineer light, that's impossible light activity. Okay, and it's occurring at a great distance away on the inside of an apartment. And this is, again, the metal mesh door out here. The fake sun is on the east side of the apartment 51 and moving and closing like I'm doing here. This is creating absolutely impossible light activity. This is what Tracy Banks is engaging in while she's monitoring me and I'm inside of the apartment. This is the significance of demons walking by in what is not sunlight. All you're needing is presence and activity creation. Living in that environment is accomplishing massive surveillance by a demon-possessed population who knows who you are. The evidence of that knowledge is the supernatural phenomenon of an idle sun that both rises and sets at one address, as I've documented, in more than one address, more than one region. San Bernardino County versus Los Angeles County, where the sun is not rising through my living room window in LA at Alvarado Gardens, nor is it going to be at the same time rising on the east side of the same apartment, where it's also setting on the west side of the same apartment. It's shown to be reflecting off of a vehicle in the same parking lot, which would be 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 10 hours from now. It's reflecting off of this demon's vehicle at 5:03 p.m. where Amazon Prime is gang stalking. Okay, and understand that gang stalking is an unlawful and inhumane act that is committed by the government. They're doing it through the people of the state, calling themselves Amazon Prime to profit, while domestic terrorism and psychological torture, referred to as federal group stalking monitoring, is underway, and it's going to be the prosecution of the state of California. And this is something that you are able to identify wherever you are in this country, because this is the U.S. government's pattern of conduct. All right, this is P.O.C. This engineered light is what is the evidence of federal group stalking monitoring. The entity then has the fake sun remaining for the duration of the day. The engineered light is also evident right here. As you can see, my shadow on the glass door, that's impossible light activity. So the entity is doing nothing other than gang stalking through the people of the state that come onto the grounds, engaging in things such as landscaping. That's what RGS represents. They're engaged in federal group stalking and monitoring, exercising no constitutionally protected rights. They also know that they're being documented. That's the other feature. Not only are they gang stalking, they are keeping you under surveillance while I am documenting them. That's the significance of it as well. This is where the entity is gang stalking, and engineered light, you can see my shadow back here. This is all manner of what the demon possessed just openly engaged in, crossing path right here, monitoring in plain sight, walking into the apartments, and they're accomplishing the purpose of having a fake sun and engineered light. They are the demon possessed who are very obsessed. That's shown through the pattern of conduct of gang stalking. Stalking is that which is born of obsession. Gang stalking is that which is born of obsession. The significance of understanding the purpose of gang stalking, the obsession is born of strangers obsessed with the one whom they're gang stalking. These strangers are demon possessed. This is demonic. And the spirit of Satan is the one who is obsessed with the target, and these people are demon possessed. And that's the ability to know that also by the environment. And what is disturbing and what is serving for removal of those in positions where they are a threat to the public is the demon possessed working for and in control of the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department, the Ontario Police Department, the Ontario Fire Department, the Ontario Mayor's Office, the Los Angeles Police Department, the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, the Los Angeles Mayor's Department, the Los Angeles the Los Angeles Mayor's Office, that's Karen Bass, and I'm referencing Paul Leon as you're making that understanding, making that juxtaposition regarding the P.O.C. as I'm showing you with regard to the territorial jurisdiction in California, San Bernardino County, Los Angeles County, and the natural environment, which is under no circumstances present when it's both rising and setting at one address. And then that's exactly what happened in Los Angeles at neither venue. because those aren't private residences, this is where the P.O.C. is underway, is that naturally capable of occurring. If you're capturing the sunrise, then at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, the sun is not still here. The sun is a gaseous ball of fire that's in constant movement. And by the way, 3 hours ahead of us, which would be 10:49 a.m., the sun is not in Florida right now also. These are the things that we are all recognizing together. This is not in Florida in the south, in the sky space over anyone. This is speaking to what is necessarily surrounding all of us, and it is an ongoing farcical ornament in the sky that is serving to deceive you about the significance of that which surrounds us. And it is not the sun, as it's going to remain in over people's head. And I could have anyone in court in any other part of the country testify, document, be present, do a live YouTube or Facebook Live in order to show you the significance of what is present in the sky space above them versus what's present in the sky space above me on any day that I'm documenting it, because it's not the same light source. We are not looking at the same sun that's on the east side of Tracy Banks' front door, Unit 51, that you would be seeing in New York or in Miami, Florida, or even in Texas, not even in Nevada. But if you'll recall, at 7:49 a.m. on August 6, 2024, the entity is keeping a fake sun over me as I walk outside on Dean Martin Drive in Las Vegas, Nevada. And this is not over Courtyard by Marriott, where I could see it from the parking lot in Las Vegas, Nevada at 7:49 a.m., where I documented the sunrise outside over me in the state where I drove into the state of Nevada, and the fake sun remained over me in California into Nevada, and that's where the sunrise occurs. The sunrise is not happening over everyone everywhere, and neither is the sunset, and neither is the sun remaining stationary over you wherever you are, regardless of whether you travel anywhere or you sit inside of your home or whatever location you're at for the duration of the day. That's not the sun, and we are not all experiencing that together. This is the specific environment which I am exposing, and exposing that is speaking to the surveillance system that we're all subject to. You need to know that it is demonic, and it's also unconstitutional while it's underway in the United States of America. Moreover, I am prosecuting a criminal system that is also inhumane, and it's also demonic. And the component to gang stalking is also the psychological warfare. And it is serving to expose what is the manufactured means of criminally defaming American citizens who are not mentally ill. They are subject to being mentally attacked, spiritually attacked, because they're ignorant about the demonic, they're ignorant about the demon-possessed, who know who you are, who are physically gang stalking you, amongst what is an ongoing surveillance system. That is, the integral aspect of that is the environment around you, and merely presence and activity creation, meaning noise and movement, in other words, which is how you're able to stalk someone, because this is all unconstitutional, and no one is constitutionally protected when they're acting on behalf of the government that is operating this system of surveillance amongst the population, relies on it, can't do it without it. And they're also then spiritually attacking your mind, and you're told things such as that you're mentally ill under unconstitutionally vague legislation that also must change in this country based on the unlawful and inhumane experiment that the U.S. government is engaging in this country. And it's a criminal act, and it's inhumane. Amongst those who are actually mentally ill, engaging in a criminal system, psychopaths are gang stalking. The demon-possessed are engaging in the satanic targeting system. They're demons. And they are actually, as mental illness is defined, they are actually the ones who are mentally ill. And they know that this is a projection by the demon-possessed. It's a tragic projection that those who are targeted by it are incapable of proving and even understanding, because those that are ordinarily targeted by it, they're subject to it. They're questioning their own sanity, and they certainly cannot prove while they are used. The system of gang stalking, as you allege, strangers are stalking you. That is actually the fact, and they are incapable of proving it, not having any evidence, and there is no system whereby they can report it to anyone and enforce their rights. Okay, that's the significance of pacing under the fake sun in the middle of the afternoon, like Unit 41 is at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, while the fake sun's reflecting off of a vehicle in the parking lot, and then they walk through it, and their shadows are appearing inside of this living room. That's the same conduct that's happening right now, walking in that which is not sunlight, under that which is not the sun, and also representing a third party and malicious company. That is AVANATH Capital Management is going to be prosecuted, okay? So remember, San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department gang stalking under the same remaining fake sun at 12:53 p.m. Remember, AVANATH Capital Management gang stalking, replete with his family and grandkids. They're all going to be prosecuted for that, and their mental illness is also on full display after 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So let's count those hours: 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, and that's a psychopath that's gang stalking. through what is the means of what is wanting to appear on the surface as being an employee reporting to work, and their focus is me. Your knowledge about that is the fake sun and the engineered light, because they're all supposed to be covered with a persuasive mask, and they want to appear normal, and they want to appear sane, and they want to falsely depict the target individual, but that doesn't work. And it's also that which they're maliciously doing while they're keeping keeping you under surveillance. And that is the entity that's being documented is keeping the documentation under surveillance, but they are not intelligent enough, and there's not enough of them to overwhelm what is the body of evidence that speaks for itself. After 2 p.m., the fake sun is still here, as evident by reflecting off of the windshields of vehicles in the same parking lot. And the entity engages in the asininity, which is speaking to the mental illness. While the fake sun is reflecting off of a vehicle, it will not create laser-like light activity reflecting inside of an apartment building. That's the same demonic conduct, and that's speaking to the same fake sun, which is not the explanation for the impossible light activity. All of this is impossible light activity. This is an unpersuasive disguise, an ornament in the sky, and it's demonic. And these are all demons. This is P.O.C. It's currently 7:55 a.m. This is the pattern of conduct, and this is an egregious sex offense. What's happening inside of an apartment is a matter of public information, which AVANATH Capital Management, a corrupt company, is engaging in what is facilitating gang stalking while its employees are engaged in that pattern of conduct. And that particular third party from Unit 41 and every adult occupant are going to mental asylums. They're very heavily documented engaging in the pattern of conduct and obstruction of justice, while I document them engaging in the pattern of conduct, which the government, again, incentivizes such obstruction of justice. And that's just supported in the body of evidence with regard to prosecuting every gang stalking household at Woodside Senior Apartments. It is currently, again, 7:55 a.m. The entity is engaged in that POC as Tracy Banks exits the apartment. Impossible light swipes through as she closes the door. It's impossible light activity, and this is the evidence of what has nothing to do with the fake sun that is outside on the east side of this living room door that's on the outside of the building. This has nothing to do with sunlight. And you need to understand that this is present in the middle of the day with regard to the presence of the fake sun in its zenith. This is present toward the latter part of the day when the fake sun is on the west side of the same apartment where it's not going anywhere, in other words. And the fake sun is then setting, and this same framing of the front door is still present. This has nothing to do with the fake sun that's outside. Neither is this sunlight. And you need to understand that none of this is sunlight either. This is what is relevant to the system of surveillance. And on a cloudy day, the same exact light activity is present. It's just a different color. All right, same peculiar character, same demonic feature regarding what is impossible light activity, and the ability to show you that which pierces through the peephole into the depths of the kitchen, which moves all over Tracy Banks' ceiling, traveling about like insects, but it's not insects, it's light. And as I put my hand through it, my hand is magnified in size. As you see it shooting through inexplicably through the depths of the living room, swiping across the cabinets. This is documentation that's already on the record regarding the light activity that has nothing to do with the fake sun that's over us in the sky space in this country. Okay, there is not one. The demonic environment, the specific environment that covers all of us, includes more than one sun. Okay, and that's defying nature. That's speaking to the malice of the United States government's pattern of conduct. And that criminal and inhumane pattern of conduct is underway in California. It's the prosecution of the state. All right, this is POC. The entity is maintaining impossible light activity, that which is over me in Los Angeles, California, rising through my living room window over the hillside. The same hillside that I'm facing at 12:51 p.m. yesterday, April 1st, 2024, is not going to create any sort of sunlight on Tracy Banks' patio. And the same analysis with regard to isolating the venue, the universe, because the entity keeps the fake sun rising and setting here. That's already the documentation for prosecution as you are recognizing the specific environment. But again, outside of juxtaposing it to the record where the entity engaged in rising and setting the sun somewhere else, such as in Los Angeles, the sun is not creating light underneath covered structures like you see here. The entity is engaging in very asinine conduct where the